Today, I point out how old I am remembering my childhood because of a chicken with a backpack. We'll also take a look at a voxel-style adventure game starring two ninjas and a prayer. And lastly, we'll look at a true successor to Diablo 2 because it's a new ARPG roguelike, and it's frickin' hard. Indie games deserve a spotlight, and the only way I know how is to talk about it in this series. We'll look at the info we have from Twitter posts, game storefronts, and developer websites. We will see what makes these games worth playing. Hello everyone, and welcome to Indie Watch. Oh my god, where has this game been all my life? Paper Clay is a wonderful callback to 3D platforming, showcasing itself in a world made up of cardboard and paper. The characters are simply adorable and almost everything has eyes. Honestly, this has Old Rare written all over it. From the very point of the intro screen, you feel what it's trying to convey, especially for those who have lived in that time. It does this thing with music as it reminisces to the likes of Banjo-Kazooie, and it also displays the world you will be adventuring to, basically showing a world that the players will be adventuring in. Opening the demo has you take control of the character Chick, as he ventures through the world looking for eggs with his tiny pal Nugget, who seems to have stationed himself in his backpack. The duo seems to be like a sort of reference to Banjo-Kazooie in a way. And if I can comment on the action Chick does, though the moveset isn't too complicated, he seems to be able to do the Mario triple jump, a double jump, a spin attack, and a glide for maneuverability. It's simple, yet if you know how to use them, you can skip some obstacles that the game itself tries to help you with. Like this platform here, where I thought the only way up was to lower it with this spin device. Turns out, you can triple jump, double jump your way past, and you'll find different methods of progression as you play the demo alone. This is a collectathon with what appears to be linear level progression. As you venture through the world, you'll find these buttons, which doesn't seem to have a useful purpose other than being a collection score. I'm willing to bet it'll have further use in the full game, however. You also come across these blue orbs, for which I have the same assumption for. Nonetheless, as a completionist, I had to collect them all. I did spy a timer at the end of the demo. I imagine a time attack will be in the full game as well. Now, about the world itself. Oh man, what a trip. It's colorful and adorable. The few characters you do come across are spirited and interesting, like a whole mountain that talks to you before inviting you inside his mouth. These three Kermit-looking frog kids who are asking for their mamas. Mama? This one flower guy who's just sitting under a tree, and a scarecrow guy who is so positive about his life that he lets you have the egg that's in his house further ahead, even though I question how he is able to own a house. Not to mention, we get a little insight on Chick and Nugget. Oh, I just got it. Chick and Nugget. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Chick being a polite yet adventurous type, and Nugget having more of a straight guy persona. Both are what I would see as a duo reminiscent of Banjo and Kazooie, though Nugget isn't as crass as Kazooie. Overall, I had a wonderful time playing this game, and hey, perhaps I can persuade the devs for a free copy when I inevitably review it. Wink, wink. I absolutely look forward to this game. I'm reminded of the old days when I spent playing a similar game with a few friends. They were two girls that lived next to me and we played all the time. I guess I was around 5 or 6, I think, and the game was Pocky and Rocky, if I recall. The game is not exactly the same to what we're looking at here, but I do feel some sort of similarities when it comes to the co-op. Katana Dragon is a voxel-style adventure game starring two ninjas who are pretty much pushed into saving their friends and family. Depending on who you start out with, the main character that you play play as will be silent, while the other character will talk for you. It will allow you to switch characters, by the way, so if you feel like playing as the girl or the boy, you can always switch. The game style has me pondering why voxel, which is a style that uses 3D cubes for its character design and world aesthetic. Not a bad design overall, but it can be an acquired taste for some. The game itself feels responsive to your controls, sometimes too responsive, as the amount of time pressed for this ninja dash is very accurate to its timing. The gameplay is pretty basic, using quick attacks to take down enemies and using the ninja dash to move around quickly, fly over gaps, and initiate a sort of slow down time when dodging an enemy at the right moment. You're also using some RPG elements, as equipment and stats is a thing here. You equip gear, dragon gems for power boost, and even curses acting as modifiers. A very familiar sight to see, but very welcome for its simplicity. The world takes place in a land that was ravaged by dragons and was sealed away by monks using a crystal barrier of some sort over 1,000 years ago. I know this because of the honestly too long intro which told me the premise at the very beginning, and this may be a bit of a problem. The unfortunate part is that the introduction to this game is rather slow for 2025 standards. I'm sure there's a skip button there, and I'm more of a story guy anyway, so I did sit it out. But most players are more than ready to start hitting things, and I do believe some people will look past these papers that are on the floor and try to figure out the game themselves. Even the puzzles here would probably cause some minor issues, very minor, as this puzzle here did get me a bit, until I realized what the note was truly trying to say to me. And unfortunately, most gamers aren't trying to work out riddles and puzzles. But that's not a me problem, more like a generational problem. I have no qualms with any of this. I played Pocky and Rocky for God's sakes. I also played the original Legend of Zelda, for which I feel they had some inspiration from in terms of level design. By the way, I beat that game. Top-down adventure games like these are a rare breed nowadays, and the feeling of the RPG element really pushes that feeling of growth within your character. Wait! I remember which game this almost feels like. Has anybody ever played Brave Fencer Musashi? Anyway, I digress. I look forward to this game. Oh man, this game had to have predicted itself being on my wish list, because now is the time for ARPGs to make a comeback. Tower of Kelmanbo is an ARPG that dedicates itself in the style of the older Diablo games. You play as a hapless hero who must climb a tower from the lowest floor in order to stop evil forces from reaching a treasure orb at the top of a tower. You'll choose from a list of 4 weapons and head on up. Along the way, you'll find loot drops from monsters, and in the tradition of Diablo 1, will be building your character along the way. However, there is no town for you to retreat to. It's up and only up. Well, down when you need something from the prior floors. You'll meet characters along the way, I assume, seeing how I met this chain priest in one of my runs. Oh, and of course, it's a roguelike, so no 2 adventures are the same. It's odd that I should discover this game while Path of Exile 2 has come out in early access, and Diablo 4 isn't doing so hot. It just seems like so many developers want to create the Diablo experience they wanted for so long, and I could say that the devs for this game is acting the same way. Diablo 2 isn't a game I played too much of, but from what I have already experienced from Tower of Kelmanbo, they're looking to make this a replayable experience. The game is difficult if you have little to no experience with ARPGs in old Diablo 1 and 2 fashion. There is no dodge roll, and there is no portals to go home. You have to move around to dodge projectiles, and monsters will try to eat your butt at all times. In between dying so many times and the difficulty adjusting to the controls, I found myself having a great time, especially seeing how I found a new love in ARPGs, admittedly due to Path of Exile, Last Epoch, the tons of creators playing them, and of course, ironically, Diablo 4. It wasn't always a bad experience. With PoE 2 being my main ARPG right now, I do want to see where this game goes. Just saying to the developers at this point, I'm very much looking forward to this, as it may or may not be my new addiction. So those are the 3 games of Indie Watch this week. Sorry I couldn't put this up on Monday. I had a lot going on the weekend, especially since the Super Bowl was going on. But check out the description down below so you can check out the Twitter handles and any information that I could dig up on these 3 games. And if you have any interest in them, play demos, support them, and put them on your wish list. Thanks for watching.